Morning world, salutations to all. What are we doing today then? Well, we have got the suspension seat in now, which is working really well. And the next job is to take out the foot plates that are in, and we're going to fabricate some new ones because the ones that are in are really about 7 inches too low for what I want to make it a nice driving experience basically. As you can see, we have the footplate in down there, and I think a comfortable height for driving is probably somewhere in line with this. Now it's going to work quite well because it will come back over the ball shafts, trumpets, and it can also come back over the back axle as well, which will keep some of the noise down and be the same from this side. Now I have had a bit of a look, and I think for the clutch pedal side, then I'm going to have it, the plate ending about here somewhere, just so that when I hit the clutch I don't actually catch the top plate too much. For this side, I can afford to have it quite a bit further forwards. It'll allow me to get the throttle pedal on quite nicely as well, because I always hit the brake with my heel on this rather than the ball of my foot. But for some reason, for the clutch, I prefer to use the ball of my foot. I don't know whether it's just because it's a little bit further for it to travel, but I can use my heel for the single stage, which, you know, will give me an extra couple of inches essentially on the foot plate. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these foot plates off now. So there's the 2 bolts at the back. I'll just show you how they're mounted. So the foot plates are nice and easy to take off. It is essentially the 2 bolts that you can see there, and there's 2 little bolts there, and then I've got my support stay coming from the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and take them off, and then we can start getting ready to fabricate some brackets to install the new steps or foot plates. So I'll get some tools out and yeah, we'll get going. Before I remove the foot plate, I'm just going to have a little measure up just to get myself a reference point really. So I know I need to have my foot plate 7 inches higher, or 7.5 inches higher than what they are at the moment. So I'm just going to have a measurement off there, so I can see that the bolt hole there is 2.25 inches. So I can take the 2.25 off the 7.5, and that gives me 4.25, does it? No, 5.25. So I need to come up 5.25 inches from the centre line of the bolt to the top of the foot plate for when I make my brackets to come off of here. So that's not a problem, we can do that. So that's 5.25 inches plus 2 is 7.25, plus the quarter is the 7.5. As I'm removing the foot plate, I'm now looking at the clutch pedal, and I'm thinking to myself, is there any reason why I can't actually cut it down here and bring the pedal this way a little bit and then weld it back together? Just wondering if that would make it a little bit better driving position maybe. Then I'm going to have a think about that and see what I can do with that. I might do that, you know. I think that might really improve the driving experience. So yeah, I'm going to take the foot plate out and then have a good think. Okay, so I now have the foot plate out, and one thing has now become very clear. I have all this free play, which means potentially I could bring my pedal up to here, which will be really good. That means I don't have to actually cut and weld the pedal What I will be doing to facilitate this though is I'll be making a new one of these rods. So what I'm going to do is make a new clevis, weld that to a piece of rod and make a new male piece to fit in the clevis at end. So what I can do is get that piece of pedal treble and get the pedal from there up to here, which I think will give it a lot better driving position, and also it will bring it up a little bit off the floor for disengaging the PTO, which will be perfect. Do my foot plate first. I'm going to have to pedal up quite a bit, so that's fine. And I'm talking rubbish because I'm not. I'm going to actually make a new one of them rods first. That's what I'm going to do, because I think that will be better to give me somewhere to actually, something solid to work off then for the foot plate. So I'm going to go and get some metal, and we've got it on the top now. Got a bit of rod here, slightly a little bit bigger than this. I'll do a check it out to see what size it is. I might have some rod that size, and then we'll make one and we'll make it about an inch shorter. So we'll get on with that. Okay, so I've come into the warmth of the garage now. I've marked my piece of rod. So I've got my mark at 2¼ inches and then a further 7 inches from that. Just going to pop it in the vise, get a bit of steel tube to put over the rod to make sure it stays straight and only bends where I want it to. And then we'll put the bend in, we'll check it against the original, and we'll make it about an inch shorter. So I'll get on a start getting that bent. Well, I couldn't find any tube the right size to fit over that, so I've got the next best thing, which is a length of box section. So I will slide that over, trying not to rake the light. I'll grab my set square. I will try and get that as vertical as I can to the vise. Gently put that in position, tighten the vise a little bit, and we'll give it a bit of a pull and see what happens. So, like I said, we have the original to compare it to, and I'm looking at that. It needs to go forward a little bit more yet. So I think that's a bit of a tweak. That's a smidge more on that, and I think we're there. So that's gone. That is fantastic. So I'll pop that out now. Give it a double check. Okay, so that's on the top there. Do it that way. Okay, so putting that on there, that looks pretty good. So what I can then do is, from my measurement there, I need to come back up now. So I need to come up and get my bend in here. It doesn't have to be absolutely critically bang on, but the main thing is that I keep this square to the bottom so that the bend is in the correct place. So I will do that mainly by eye, and I can see there that that is out. So having a look at that, it's looking pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. So double check we've got it all where we need it. Okay, we've got down to there, we've got the bend in the right place, and we can give it a bit of a pull over and see what happens. Hopefully it stays. Okay, so we've gone a little bit too far with that, so we can take it back a little bit. Might be a little bit more tricky, but okay, back a little bit more, I think. And I think then we're done. So I think that's gone. Pretty happy with that. So what I'll do now is measure it, cut it. I will get some 10mm flat bar, make a little end like that to weld on, and then I'll make a little horseshoe clevis for the other end. And I do have adjustments still on the other linkage, so that's fine. Before I weld it on, I will just go and double check everything and then cut it to length and then weld it on. So I'll mark that, I'll get that cut, and then we'll start on the end piece. I have welded the piece of steel onto the end here, rounded the corners off a little bit, and drilled a 3/8 hole for the pin and the clevis. I have also just been back to the tractor, had a little sit on it, seen where I can have the clutch pedal at its highest point realistically. I'll leave myself a little bit of adjustment to lower the clutch pedal if I need to, and then I've marked it with the end of the tape here for the point of the hole for the clevis. I've taken the old linkage, and as you can see, we've taken about 7/8 of an inch out of it by the time we finish, which will bring the clutch pedal back up again. So what I'm going to do is fabricate a clevis for this end, and then we'll line it up with a hole here, and then we'll cut it back here to weld the clevis back on, and then we'll install it. So I'll see you in a little while. So I finished making the rod, as you can see there. I do need a stop bracket making to adjust the pedal return stop, but as you can see, the pedal is now sitting a lot further towards the rear of the tractor, which is good. I have sat on a seat and given it a try, and it is a lot nicer position for driving. I am thinking now seriously about the floor, and if you look off the height, I think it's going to be very close as to whether I can make a floor to actually fit somewhere near underneath this or not. I'm hoping I can get a floor that will, with a bit of rubber on it, touch under there, so that'll create a bit more of a better seal for me. I'm going to have to probably have a gap down here. I can cut it a little bit to get it in, just to fit a little bit tighter, and the same just there to get it to fit a little bit tighter. But I might box in around where the steering arm goes, and then that will eliminate all the draft from this area then. So I can make a panel just to come from here somewhere, just around there, which, although it make it a little bit tricky to get in, it might even have to just be the foot plate comes to here and then a bit of canvas maybe. I'm not too sure on that, but we can get some measurements now. So I'm thinking the best plan of attack now is going to be to actually get the floor plate made and then think about how I'm going to support it after. So I'll get some brackets made on here just to get the height right that I need, and that will probably be pretty much it for the moment. It's going to have to come up after it's gone past that anyway to go up and over the back axle a little bit more, but we'll see how we get on with that, because I'm going to put a sister ram on it. So at the moment, until I get that in place, it's going to be a little bit hit and miss, but we can make a good start on it, which is the main thing, and work out how we're going to get it all bolted in. So I'm thinking, because we've got the holes front and back here, I can make a box section bracket to fit over the top of that, which the floor can fit to, so it'll just be a little U shape. That will then hopefully give me enough support to bring the floor to here, and then probably utilise this bracket to put a diagonal support then up to here, or something similar, just to give the front a little bit more support. I'm going to leave it all free from the cab because I want the floor to stay still when I tip it. So when the cab tips back, the floor's going to stay in the correct position. So that's the plan. It's going to be too much to try and get it all to tip with the tractor, especially now the seat is fixed in properly. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. We'll have a little measure up and see what we can make happen.